Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? That was the most awkward intro I've ever done. But how's everyone doing? May the 4th be with everyone. I had to get that out there. May the 4th be with you. Star Wars Day. It's probably my favorite day, to be honest with you. To be honest with you guys, do you guys like May the 4th? Is it like your favorite day, just like me? I freaking love Star Wars. That's really just me.
I mean, Star Wars is a good thing, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite day. I mean, Christmas is up there. My birthday's up there. There's a lot of more important days than just May the 4th.
Yeah, like my birthday.
Exactly. Like Fox's birthday, I've got that marked in my calendar.
May 4th.
Really?
No, it's January 27th.
I was like, wait, is it really your birthday? Like, can we put on like a birthday song?
It is January 27th. All right. I mean, you know, all I want for my birthday is a
I'm sure we're all thinking the exact same thing.
Where are we going with this?
I'm just waiting for the chat to be like, oh, know what it is. Know what it is. But no, guys, welcome to the STiKS Live presented by Xbox. Not really, we're not presented by Xbox. If we were, that'd be pretty cool. We got the EU invasion. The British are here. They're attacking me and Fox. We're left by ourselves. So help us all.
Whatever this crap is in my eye.
Such a detriment. Such a detriment.
What did you say?
I said this episode is sponsored by whatever crap it is in my eye. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was listening. I promise.
No, you're good. But we have today Mr. iRage and Tommy Esports, both hosts of the STiKS EU, which is on what day and when? Rage?
Wednesday at 5:30 GMT, although it's actually BST, not GMT, so I've already messed it up. But I don't know what time it is in America, because America's irrelevant. BST, 5:30. Be there this Wednesday. We've got a really, really good guest. He is... No, I'm not going to spoil it. You need to stay tuned to at the STiKS Live to kind of figure out who it is. But he was at ESWC. He was quite good. It wasn't Nate Shot. I wish it was, because I need that juice. Maybe. You'll have to find out. You'll have to find out.
I'll try to watch it. I'm in school when it's happening, but I'll do my best to be there and watch you guys mess up a lot. But today, like I said, we have Mr. iRage Tommy and Mr. Ron Des Fox. I'll give you guys a chance to do your intros, but before we do that, we have the intro question for the show, which is, you guys have your listening ears on? I can't see Tommy, but I'm sure no one has.
I'm listening. Did you see Goldie replace his webcam?
What's his image?
Such a glorious image.
Great British flag.
God save. Wait, we're not doing that? Okay.
No, that's I have a question for you, Rage. Why are you British when you could just be American?
You'd be nothing without us.
We made you.
We made you.
I mean, I don't really go into politics, but I'm quite happy being British. I'm quite happy going to all these UK events. Maybe in the future you'll see me at an American event. Who knows?
All right, Landon, what's the deal for today, man?
All right, man. The question, I'm not sure why I just asked you like that, but to the question of the STiKS for today is, if you could relate yourself to any Star Wars character since it's May the 4th, what character would it be and why? Since Rage looks very questionable, I'm going to start off with Rage.
No, I need to think about this. Then
I'm going to go to Tommy. Can't see Tommy, so hopefully he's there. And then I'm gonna give you guys my answer. So, Rage, you're on the spot. Don't mess it up.
I feel as if the go-to answer... Like, I mean, Tommy's Jar Jar Binks. I feel as if I'm probably Han Solo or Boba Fett. So I'm probably say Han Solo because he's a
You're my enemy.
Yeah. no, I'll probably say Han Solo because he's got a bit of swagger to him. I think he's got a bit of a swagger. He's he owns a ship. I'd like to think I own a ship. If I was to own a ship,
what's the name of the ship? What's the name of the ship?
Falcon.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Don't try and hit me up with the Star Wars knowledge.
Your Star Wars knowledge is up to par. I was trying to catch you, and you passed. Fox, what Star Wars character would you be, and why?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know absolutely nothing about Star Wars, but Yoda is my man. I would be Yoda if I had to be someone.
I was gonna say more of a Mace Windu, to be honest with you.
I'm more of a Yoda kind of guy.
Yoda, all right. Mr. Tommy.
I'm gonna go with R2-D2.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
I don't know how I relate to him, but I just think
I really want to roast. I really want to roast.
Rage, you are C-3PO, 100%. You're
I
tall.
really want to roast.
You're
I
skinny.
really want
You're
to roast.
British.
It's like Pinky and
Perfect.
Perky, man.
I think that there's like no better option for you. Than
I mean, I was
Timothy.
gonna say Tommy's kind of R2D2 because he always turns up even though no one really wants him to be there. No, I'm joking. I love you, Tommy. I love you, Tommy. Tommy, I love you. I love you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Shots.
guys.
I felt that one in my
Shots.
heart.
Shots.
I'm a big
But
fan.
I had this question ahead of time, so I was like, "Who's my favorite Star Wars character?" I gotta be Chewbacca. There's no reason why, but I really like Chewbacca, and he makes some pretty interesting noises. And
Give us an impression.
all right. Oh
No, please don't. Just
All right.
Please do.
Should I
just
not?
move on.
Fox is like,
Turn
I
down
don't
your
want to hear
time.
this.
Can I try?
No.
Gosh.
Do it.
Come on, do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it for the man.
I have no idea how to even start.
It sounds
Like-
like you've got like constipation or something.
Oh my god.
I mean, what if he
Tommy,
does?
Tommy, give me your impression. If yours is any better.
Ah!
What? You sound like a you sound
He's
like
a
a
goat.
jammed copier.
He's a goat. All right.
Wait, did that come
go
out as a
ahead.
goat?
I mean, that's what
You
it
say,
sounded
Tommy?
like.
No, you 100% sounded like a jammed copier or something, like trying to like print out something. I don't know.
Alrighty.
But regardless of the intro, we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is none other than the roster lock. If you guys didn't know, the roster lock ended up happening on April 29th. Rosters will not be back to normal. Well, even you can't trade until what is it, after X Games? I'm not really sure the exact date, like when they open again to make trades and whatnot. But anyone in the league cannot make any more trades till after the X Games. Now, a couple trades that happened during like the last couple of days of RosterMania. Just some highlights were Orbit got Lawless, Happy, and Facento for UMG Cali. A lot of people were asking me this. They're like, how was Sensor on FaZe? He was actually traded to FaZe for BL Fire. Mochila was traded to AR for Happy, and looks like I think that was about it. So I'm gonna ask you guys this: out of the entire RosterMania, who benefited? Like, what team benefited the most from everything that happened? I'm gonna know you guys' thoughts on that. I'm gonna start with Mr. Fox because I know that Tommy and Rage don't really care. You wanna go last?
Oh, you said, but they don't care. Wow.
No,
Wait,
no,
I think
no,
they
no.
care.
Don't care is a very abusive thing. I mean, my American knowledge is flawless, but I feel as if because of it being so flawless, like out of courtesy, one of you two has to go first.
I think we should put Rage first. I think we should stitch him up.
Absolutely. It
No.
sounds like he has no idea what he's talking about.
All in favor of Rage going first, say aye.
As a caster,
On
you
favor-
have to be able to know all the regions. I'm afraid.
Let's do it.
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. So Fox,
I
do
mean,
it.
if you ask Fox,
You're a caster, right? Fox, do it.
I'm a what?
Thank you, Tommy. Who's your opinion?
A caster. You're a caster.
I'm
Fox.
actually so good that I retired.
You're a wizard, Fox. You're really a wizard.
I am a wizard.
All right. All in favor of
Okay,
Fox
so
going-
I would say the team that benefited the most would be Prophecy dropping Censor. I mean, as I do feel very bad for Censor, and I wish that did not happen for him. But seeing who they picked up in his place, being any player from TR would have been fine. I'd say it's a pretty great trade right there.
I can agree with that. What team overall do you think got the best though, out of everything? You think it's Prophecy? I know it's a hard question. I wish.
I want to say I just want to say Prophecy. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I want to say Prophecy definitely worked out the best.
All right, Mr. Tommy Esports.
I mean, I would probably have to agree. I feel like of the teams that made roster changes, I feel like Prophecy really gained quite a lot from dropping Sensor. It sucks because he's been, technically screwed over at least a couple of times. I know that I think Mochila was, allegedly dropped from the roster just because of the fact that Aches didn't like him. So whatever's going on there, but I feel like they're definitely a stronger roster now. Can they make it out of relegation? That's another question. Another thing that I always have to question is the fact that, yes, they're in relegation. Yes, they made a roster change, what is probably going to benefit their team, but they've got to lock down positions, chemistry, etc., etc. And if this takes a prolonged time, are they realistically benefiting by making this roster change? Because looking at it, they really need to buck their ideas up and start winning games. Otherwise, it's just going to be down and out, kind of like Optic Nation.
Yeah, I definitely see your point. I think Prophecy definitely got better, but I want to hear what Rage has to say. Spotlight's on you, Rage. Don't mess
He's
up.
like scrambling through like all the roster changes.
Quickly, send me the rosters. No, obviously I'm a professional, so I do my research, and I feel as if Prof kind of have got the better of situations. It always baffles me.
That sounds familiar.
It always baffles me how H just finds himself in these godly situations where he either gets dropped from one team and he just finds himself on a roster where he just kind of molds into his own. I mean, Aqua and Nagafen on that roster are really going to complement each other very well, and especially Yates and Apathy. I feel as those two duos kind of coming together is really going to benefit as well, especially TR. Anyone wants TR players. As I see the chat, everyone wants like those TR players. I mean, they've been playing very, very well and they have hot property. So I feel as if it's a very good team, and so I'm going to have to say they've obviously got the better of the whole roster change, roster drama alert, whatever.
Roster.
Hashtag drama alert.
We all talked about prophecy here. I think that I'm sorry, Elena. You were going next, right? I'll just talk after you. I'm gonna wait for you to go.
No, you're fine. I'll just give my instance really quick, and I'll let you go.
Go for it.
All right. I'm gonna go and say mine. I think mine honestly would have to be Envious. I think Envy has done insanely well in the league. They went from like I think some people were saying in the chat. They went from like 9th to like 3rd or 2nd. They've been doing absolutely amazing.
11th
in the 11th.
Oh, wait.
11th to 2nd.
I think it was 11th. I've seen a tweet about it. I think so.
No, they went on an 11-game winning streak, is what it was.
Okay. Well, they've just improved so much. I think the lineup of Saints, Proofy, Looney, and Teep. That's just a really, really good lineup. I'd like to see them have a little bit more practice once they head to events. I'm not sure if they're going to Gfinity. I don't think we know a whole lot about Gfinity yet. We'll be talking about that later in the show. However, to me, since you guys said prophecy, I think they've definitely gotten better. Looking at some other teams, like I said, I think Envy has gotten better. I actually have Denial on my list. Denial didn't make any trades, but I think them not making trades actually kind of helped them and actually made them a little bit better.
That wasn't the question.
What?
I said, but that wasn't the question. You said who benefited the most from the trades, right?
Well, yeah, but I think another team could benefit because they didn't make any. Like, so I'm looking at it, like at all the teams.
Oh, I'm confused.
No one getting the correlation here?
I can respect that.
I cheated.
I
cheated. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, I do agree with you.
On his own question.
I agree with you in the sense that the teams that don't make roster changes, to a certain extent, that's going to benefit them because they already have existing chemistry. Because if these teams are obviously mixing around, they're not going to have that chemistry. While if you have a solid four sticking together, as Landon was saying, you're always going to have more chemistry than the team was newly formed. So I agree with you, Landon. You can carry on bowing. Now please stick up to me when like everyone tries to take the piss out of my EU number.
I got your back. Got your back, Rage. All right, Fox, you have something to say, man?
Yeah, we all highlighted Prophecy. I think a lot of us mentioned and praised Prophecy's new squad, picking up 2 TR players, and then Apathy and Apathy and Aches. I'm so sorry. I'm used to saying those two together. I want to highlight Orbit. They have Accuracy and Lawless, who have been teaming together since the very beginning of Advanced Warfare. Then they got Pacento, one of the little stragglers from Team Revenge, and Happy, who has been such a strong player since he was on Team Aware. You know, that's going to be a strong squad as well. I got to see Hack perform in Niagara, and he's definitely a strong player. Great pickup for them. I'm excited to see how Orbit is going to perform this season.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think about Orbit. I know they gain those players. I'm not sure, however. I've heard that they're only going to be on that team for UMG Cali, but I'm not 100% sure. That's just what I've heard. But I definitely think that team should stick together. So I definitely agree with that point. Now, looking at kind of the negative side of RosterMania, who do you guys think who kind of like, I wouldn't say benefited, but who got, how am I supposed to like word this? Who got the worst? That's not really a word from all this RosterMania. So who benefited the least is what I'm trying to say from RosterMania. I'm going to go and start in reverse. I'm going to go to Rage, then Fox, then to Tommy. Rage, hopefully you're should I not go to Rage? I don't want to gang up on Rage.
Censor. Just censor the person.
What?
Censor
I'm talking about the teams.
Exactly. I mean, like, I just feel bad for him because he just always seems to be the player what gets dropped, and it's just like, can we all just send a tier to censor?
Send a
tier. Sorry for him. Yeah, I mean, like, he's always the person. He, just, you know, I feel as if he does just, yeah, I feel sorry for him. I really do. Censor, I'm a fan.
I feel you. I
Yeah,
feel
being
you,
put
man.
in a situation like that is rough, especially with how hard he worked for himself when he was on FaZe, branding himself as FaZe Censor, and he's been able to do this all full time now because of how the advantage that he took or the opportunity that he took when he was on FaZe, and it's just really rough to see a player like him that works so hard but doesn't get any credit for what he does. Nobody gives Censor credit. Like I don't remember the last time I've heard somebody praise Censor for something that he's done in game or something like that. People just don't
He
notice.
gets a lot of flack. He does get a lot of flack, and I know he grinds like YouTube all the time, and a lot of people hated him. Like they like literally had some like hardcore hate for Censor, but
Yeah, but
he's really a great guy. He plays the OBJ role. What's that, Tommy? What'd you say, man?
He's making like big bucks now because he's grinded.
That's true.
He's got that gamma money.
That what now?
He's got that gamma, that G Fuel dollar.
Oh yeah, he's like a part of the gamma and all kinds of different
By the way,
stuff.
use code Kingdom for 10% off. I got you.
Shameless plug.
Kill him.
No, but I know Rage gave a player, which is totally allowed. But Tommy, who do you think benefited the least from RosterMania?
I'm actually gonna answer the question and give a team because that's what I was asked to do. So I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna give you two teams to make up for Rage's mistake.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you Optic Nation and I'm gonna give you AR. My reason for Optic Nation, I mean, I know you're probably gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but I feel like they're not. They've kind of downgraded with Embos. You may or may not agree with me, but if you look at the statistics, it kind of backs it up. And if you watch them in game, it kind of backs it up. And you can see the frustration with the team from what Killer's been putting on Twitter. And you can see it in their league record as well. So I think the evidence is there. I feel like replacing the likes of Karma is a hard job. And TP going over to Envy, it's hard to replace him because he brings so much to the team other than just raw talent. He's very good in game with communication and leadership. So that's my first team. Second team for me would be AR. I feel getting rid of Happy wasn't the wisest move. I know Machilla's been doing pretty well in Advanced Warfare, don't get me wrong, but I feel as though Happy is an exceptionally talented player and someone that I would have personally kept on the roster.
Yeah, I think Happy's a really, really good young Slayer. I know it's like always kind of a debate whether he's like really good at communication and getting chemistry, but definitely a very, very solid player. And I definitely agree with you on those points. Mr. Fox, have any teams that you think benefited the least from RosterMania?
I want to go with AR as well. I don't think that dropping Happy was the best decision, but I do think that picking up Moch was a good idea. If I had to see them drop anyone, I think it would be Spacely. I feel like Moch complements Burns and Anticity very well, and Happy I feel like would be great on any roster that he gets put on, and he also proved that over the weekend in Niagara, having a phenomenal performance. I don't think that dropping Happy from AR was the best decision, but I do like they picked up Moch, so we'll just see where they go with it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys' points. I know a lot what we said was like Optic Nation and AR, which I definitely can't not agree with. Those teams to me have not really improved much at all, if not gotten worse. Optic Nation, like we said, lost Teep and Karma, two amazing players. Now one on Optic Gaming and one on Envy. To me, before once the trades had actually happened and looking at like speculation, what we think could happen, I had TK in my mind. I didn't think that team was going to work out well. They placed pretty well at one of the last events at UGC Niagara. You could argue not all the teams were there. However, they're doing better than I thought that they would have been. They're playing pretty consistent, so I definitely have to agree with you guys on saying Optic Nation and AR. Out of the two, I'm going to say Optic Nation. I think Nation has gotten progressively worse. While they've kind of upgraded a little bit more, but I think Justice and Prophecy just have not worked well at all together, that's for sure. So out of the entirety, there we go. I'm just messing up on my words today, but out of the entirety of RosterMania, how does this one stack up to all the others? This is open to free discussion. Chat, put it in there. I don't care what you guys want to say, but out of all the RosterManias that we've seen in the past, where does this one line up at? And this is just open to anyone, whoever wants to talk. I'll go if needed, but whoever wants to talk, feel free to. Feel free.
What did you mean by what do you mean how does this rank? Like in terms of what?
Like out of
other
whenever you group RosterManias together, like this one, like this type of group with like that one, like you could say like the season 2 one in Ghost, the season 2-3 one in Ghost, like when Scump left Envy and then he went back to Optic. Like out of all of the RosterMania events, which one has this one been higher tier, or has this one been kind of an average RosterMania as a whole?
I guess it hasn't been too crazy. I mean, we did see that we did see what the COD community can do in terms of taking a good thing and then still making something bad out of it. And I'm talking about censor being dropped the very last day. I think the roster lock time period is a fantastic idea, to keep crappy things from happening from people or to people, but then we still see that people wait until the very end of that timeline and kind of blindside a player.
I can agree with that.
To add to that, I feel as if this is probably an average roster lock, because again, as you mentioned, kind of bringing into the question, the whole Envy one where Scump left Optic to Envy and then went back, that was really confusing, because as soon as Optic makes a change, it's going to be a good RosterMania, because you see teams like all of a sudden this player's like, oh, Optic's got a free. I'm all of a sudden conveniently not on a team, like trying to get picked up by Optic, and you always see them, following Optic and so on and so forth. So I always feel that's going to be probably one of the best RosterManias. I also feel the RosterMania, I can't remember which one it was, but when that whole thing with like the Impact reforming, and there was a lot of speculation before Advanced Warfare of like Impact coming back, and there's quite a lot of hype of Miracles, Parasite, and Killer Clan teaming together, and there's a lot of like Twitter speculation, so on and so forth. Like, will Karma join them? I feel as if that was probably one of the most entertaining from a personal point of view, because I'm a big fan of the whole Impact era. I think what they did on Black Ops 2 is really admirable, and something what it's pretty interesting. So I was kind of hoping that was happening. I know a lot of people was also kind of getting really, really happy and really excited. And any RosterMania where fans get behind and fans intrigue probably makes it one of the best RosterManias for me.
Something also interesting is, we got to see where the TR guys were going to go. So, I mean, placing so well as they did in COD Champs, being second, it's interesting to see that, they couldn't get in the league. So that was definitely a huge deal to people. It was just awesome to see these new faces making such a huge difference.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. I think a lot of people honestly kind of take this RosterMania in a way, not like hating on anyone that doesn't think this is a big RosterMania or anything, but like being RosterMania kind of in a way. There was like a lot of days where people were so confused and were like so intrigued on what was going to happen. Whenever I would even stream and get, viewers just excited to just, get talking about the news and stuff that could come out. I think Nadeshot retiring was huge. Merc getting dropped. Karma being the new fourth, that was like the most hype moments of RosterMania. Whenever we had that one day when I think everyone was in the ESR, everyone was tuning into the ESR, and like Envy had like 8 players at one point, and then they had some really crazy days. I think this RosterMania doesn't like stack the highest by any means. I think there's been better RosterManias before this one, but I like this one a lot. I like this one just for the fact of how I feel like into it the community was. I think this really, I wouldn't say like help the community, but I think this really got them intrigued in what RosterMania can really do and how it can change the game, to say the least, kind of like what Fox said. So do you have any more lasting talks about RosterMania? Tommy, do you have any closing words?
I know there's been like a lot that's happened in terms of, like Merc coming off of the Envy roster and Nature and stuff, but I almost feel as though it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just obviously the start of Advanced Warfare Season 1, there was a lot of hype around it. I just don't feel there's as much hype around the league at the moment, because obviously, once you start doing something repetitive, it kind of loses its value a little bit. So I feel as though this hasn't been the greatest. I don't think it's been the worst, but I think it's been, in my eyes, down there as one of the worst, because as you said, there's been in the past so many great kind of RosterMania and stuff. Like I remember, just off the top of my head, the one, I think it was Season 3 of Ghost, when Justice, about hours before the roster lock, didn't even have a roster, and it was just like panic of like who they're going to pick up. But I mean, I definitely agree that the whole, where are TR going to go, that was a really, really entertaining thing to watch. Sad to say that they haven't stuck it out, but it's been interesting to see where they've gone, and it's nice to see that the majority of the team has actually got onto league teams and actually can now hopefully look towards making their Call of Duty careers even better. So it's not the greatest class, in my opinion.
You guys sound like you're like glorifying RosterMania. I completely hate when RosterMania comes around. I think it's the worst time. But like they're not saying anything to people that like following it, because that's cool. Someone's got to keep track.
What are you
of
saying, Fox? No, I'm just kidding.
I can't. I just can't.
Landon's gained a lot from this, so
I just don't like what it does. I just don't like what it does to the scene. I think that the CS:GO scene, they call it their RosterMania thing, the NA shuffle, because they're really the only ones that make all these sporadic crazy decisions that just confuse everyone and make people lose interest. I don't know. I was finding it hard to rank, RosterMania as like what was the best, because I personally think that they're all dumb. But that's just me.
I honestly feel like it's bad but good at the same time. Obviously, it looks very unprofessional from an outside perspective, and obviously you talk about CS:GO, and they're probably like sitting here thinking like, what the hell is happening? It's like musical chairs. But as bad as it is, at the same time, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I feel like it brings in kind of a lot of attention to our scene, and I feel like that can be looked at in a good way, but also as a bad thing. But ultimately, I don't know. I feel like. I mean, I enjoy it, so I guess I'm kind of being biased, but I get completely where you're coming from.
I feel like there is definitely such a thing as bad publicity, though. Like, we've got tons of it in the COD scene,
Well, I think, like, looking at how publicity works, like, in a way, I can agree with no publicity is bad publicity because you just want to get known, but I definitely think there's a way to realize that, if people are talking bad about the community, if people aren't really, like, motivated and, like, if something bad's happening in the scene, people are going to pay attention to it. When stuff was going on in CS:GO, people were interested in CS:GO, but they were still looking at it and being like, this is non-professional. But people are still interested in it. So in a way, I can agree with what you guys are saying.
It's exciting.
It's exciting, but whenever you really focus in on it, I think that it's both beneficial and kind of hurts the scene. And speaking on RosterMania, I didn't take anything RosterMania-wise. People say they don't like RosterMania. I don't take that offensive at all. I want people to know that. I totally agree. RosterMania has its pluses and it has its negatives. It like kind of tears the community apart in a way. But I'm just there to update it. I want people to know what's going on. By no means am I like excited when someone gets dropped or anything like that. I just want to be there to help the community and try to add on to that. So I want everyone to know that. All right. Boom, Coley. I did see your DM, by the way, man. Do we have any last thoughts on RosterMania before we go ahead and head to a quick commercial break?
I kind of want to talk about TCM because there's a lot of rumors about them with Madcat kind of picked up as a sub. I think Swizz kind of mentioned it on the Reddit, saying that like, oh, you're pointing at me.
I'm saying go, man, go. You're the man. You're allowed to go.
I mean, like, obviously, I feel as if being European, I kind of have to mention it as I've seen Tommy's graphic on the stream kind of change to me, CP3PO. Pretty swanky, I mean, I feel as if Madcat being picked up as a substitute, there's a lot of speculation as to him replacing Gunshi, because Gunshi, a lot of people are saying that some things are going on behind the scenes. A lot of speculation, as per always, whenever one of these things happen. But then again, can I talk about the European rosters, because that's kind of been mixed up a little bit as well.
Go for it.
I mean, we'll probably talk about it later on because we're talking about Gfinity, but the rosters in Europe at the minute, for those who don't know, is just jumbled together and just so hectic, and it's kind of having question marks as to where Madcat's going and what's happening with this Epsilon roster. So probably talk about that later on. Hopefully we do talk about that later on, because that's the reason why I'm here. And that's probably about that's my words, my closing thoughts.
Your words of wisdom.
If I'm not mistaken, Madcat is replacing Gunshi. I know that they actually were talking about it on stream on ESWC, so I don't know if it's actually been confirmed, but that's, to my knowledge, what's happening. I think it's a really interesting move, because obviously, I mean, Madcat to me is more of an SNG player, whereas obviously Gunshi's more of an AR, but I guess they can be versatile, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah,
I mean, Madcat was the first European pro to actually go over to compete in America.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't go too well.
What team did he sub for again?
But that
I
was
can't remember it. I knew it. It was Elevate, I think.
Elevate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elevate during Ghosts, and that didn't really go too well because of reasons that are quite funny, but it's not, you can't really discuss on a stream. But
all right, commercial break. You can fill me in.
Yeah.
Intel.
That didn't work last time, so hopefully all things go good for him, because Madcat's a nice person at heart, and so hopefully it works out for him and the TCM boys.
I'll be sure to tweet it out after this show.
we got all the intel, but before we do that, we're gonna head to a quick commercial break, guys. We'll be right back to talk about some ESWC madness, some craziness that happened, and we'll see you guys on the other side of however many seconds goalie puts on. So I'll see you guys in just a second.
With a two-piece. Crimsix has the opportunity to run this one home. The dying seconds of this game, I don't see Calicut going in. It is going to go home. Optic Gaming will bring this all the way back in the final dying seconds. And that's going to be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Optic Gaming are your ESWC champions. Oh, what a game!
Well, never count them out, boys. You see, just look at the sheer look of relief, I think, on all their faces that they managed to pull that out within the final few seconds.
Denial thought they had it, but Optic slightly favoured side. They kept pushing, they kept being aggressive. Crimsix took it upon his own shoulders there, those last two flags.
Sorry, Goalie was doing that before we were entering. Did you show them the video, Goalie?
Yeah.
How did you guys think of the video? How insane was that? I totally know what the video was. I'm just kidding. No. That was one of the craziest grand finals in ESWC and Call of Duty esports history. We're going to talk about the recap. If you guys didn't realize, Fox is gone. He had to use the restroom, but he's not back in time. So that's kind of unfortunate. Slacking. And we can talk bad about him, so I'm just kidding. Just messing around. But now I'm going to go over some of the placings that happened at ESWC, going from first to 8th place. So starting in actually, should I go in descending order, or should I just start with first?
Do it whichever way you want.
I'm going to start off from the bottom to the top, because we started
from the bottom. Now we're here.
Now we're here. So coming in 7th through 8th was FaZe France and Millennium. 5th through 6th was Epsilon and Barrage. Fox were back. 3rd through 4th was Vitality Storm and Revenge. Coming in 2nd came Denial, and in 1st was none other than Optic Gaming.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprises all over the place. Now, some group play. I'm going to talk about these just for a second. In Group 1, we had Optic Gaming, Denial, Barrage, Esports, and Millennium. In Group 2, we had Team Revenge, Vitality Storm, Epsilon, Esports, and FaZe France. In the first group, it was Optic Gaming and Denial who moved on. In Group 2, it was Team Revenge and Vitality Storm who moved on. Now, looking at Group 1, did you guys expect anyone else besides Optic Gaming and Denial to make it out? I want to know your guys' thoughts. I'm going to go to Tommy, then to Rage, and then to Fox. And if you guys didn't know the teams, it's Optic, Denial, Barrage, and Millennium.
Sorry, can you just repeat the question? I know
it was a very long question, but no. Did you expect anyone? Do you expect any other teams besides Optic and Denial to make it out of Group 1?
No.
And why?
and then to answer your question for Group 2, what was it? Vitality Storm and Revenge that came out. Honestly, coming into it, it was a bit hard to predict because obviously the recent roster changes with Vitality and Epsilon. I put personally Epsilon to go through, based off how they did in the EU regionals, and it didn't have the great showing at COD Champs, but just generally that roster looked better on paper to me. But I'm not too surprised that Vitality went through. They're a solid roster. They played really, really well. I feel like that roster was, although it was a pickup, it was a very, very good pickup, to say the least. So I'm not really surprised in any way that the teams that went through.
Okay. Fox?
I would have expected this.
No, you're good.
Group 1, pretty sure it's clear it's going to be Optic or Denial. Group 2, I expected to be TR and Epsilon, but it ended up being TR and Vitality, which kind of threw me off a bit. Gotta say. I think that was just because Vitality 3-2 TR, but, probably the biggest competition in this whole group. But, I don't know, that kind of caught me off guard. I expected it to be Epsilon or Vitality.
Rage?
Group 1, we actually talked about it on the stick, so you make sure you check that VOD out. Cheeky little plug. But me and Tommy kind of said that anyone who's not predicting Optic and Denial to go through in Group 1 is insane. I did say potentially Barrage and Millennium might cause some upsets, and we saw Barrage do that because they played very, very well. I'm sure we'll talk about that as well later on. The second group, to be honest, I was pretty much expecting any of the teams to go through. I knew Vitality and Epsilon were both weak going into it, but I feel out of Vitality and Epsilon probably did have the strongest roster because Tommy came back over from Vitality and it was that old squad of Josh, Micah, Swanee and Tommy coming together. So I feel as if out of the two powerhouses of Europe, Epsilon probably would have topped him. Revenge, obviously, with their massively insane roster, what they had going into champs, placing very well at that. You're going to expect them to go through. They finished third, so you got to tip the hat to them. And I feel as if, to be fair, Vitality, they came into it weak because of the last-minute roster changes, but they surprised everyone because I expected them not really to do too well. They somehow just placed 4th. I don't know how they did that. Mind blown about that. But yeah, Vitality shocked and impressed.
I can honestly, looking at Group 1, like Rage said, you'd be stupid to not think that Optic Gaming and Denial we're going to move on. Barrage had some moments, though. We're going to talk about some crazy moments that happened. Barrage beating Optic Gaming definitely kind of spiced up how some things worked out. Much like everyone else, I also thought the Epsilon would move on in Group 2 besides Vitality. So like we said, Optic Gaming and Denial move on from Group 1, and from Group 2 it was TR and Vitality Storm. Moving on to the playoffs, it was Optic Gaming who would play Vitality Storm and end up 3-0ing them, moving them into the finals. And then it would be TR versus Denial, which was an insane game, which we'll talk about here in a minute as well. Heading to the finals, it was Optic Gaming versus Denial. The stages were set, and some crazy stuff happened. Optic Gaming ended up winning the entire tournament. Oh my god.
Surprise.
Man, that retreat CTF upset me so much.
Save the gasps, everyone. Save the gasps. I want to know some surprising placings from you guys. Did you guys see anything that really just spoke out to you? You're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that happened. Some good, I guess you could say some good surprising moments that happened. So I'm going to start off with Rage, then to Fox, then to Tommy. This is just some surprising placings that happened to you guys out of the top 8 that we had. Anyone that you thought would be higher or lower, it doesn't really matter.
Higher. I expected maybe Millennium or FaZe France to place higher because they, out of the European teams, didn't make changes before the event. And obviously, I'm sure we're all aware the ESWC crowd war was insane. So when you have 4,500 French people and you're French, like just sitting there and they're screaming your name and screaming your team, I've not played in front of 4,500 people, but I'd assume that it's kind of like a fifth man to the team, and it's obviously going to help you and carry you through. So I was expecting Millennium, especially with Kataga on the team, to do a little bit better than he did. I already said Vitality impressed me a lot, especially considering their last-minute roster changes. Epsilon kind of underperformed, especially considering that they basically had the god squad of Europe. Everyone kind of said when they had that old team. Now they kind of formed together for the ESWC. Everyone kind of assumed that they was going to be the squad in Europe to kind of go up against Optic, Denial, and Revenge. And, well, they didn't really do that.
I gotcha, Tommy. Any surprising placings?
So what, a team that we think overperformed and one that underperformed, are you asking?
Well, you can just mention any surprising placings that you had
out
of the top.
I think we need to mention Barrage. I feel like, for me personally, I overlooked Barrage because I honestly didn't really know the roster, to just be honest with you guys. I feel like they had kind of a big hill to climb with the actual group they were in, and they were really unfortunate, I feel, to not actually get out of it. I think it's worth mentioning that the fact that they beat Optic Gaming, it was game 5, and only just lost to Denial in game 5 as well, is something that we need to mention. I feel like they'll be gutted but happy at the same time because they performed absolutely amazing. I don't think anyone would have really predicted them to come out of the pool, and they didn't, but they came close. But on the same side, they've beaten Optic Gaming and they nearly beat the world champions. So you can't really look at that too bad. I think Urban and LXT, for me, played absolutely phenomenal on that roster. So they really, really impressed me. As I say, it's just unlucky that it ended up being 3 teams tied at 2 wins and 1 loss, and they just happened to have the worst map count. But, it's just the way it works. I mean, I'm not going to go into how they've structured the pools and everything, but I feel like they were the team that really impressed me. When they took down Optic, everyone was like, whoa, where is this team coming from? Because a lot of people would probably just completely disregard them as soon as they see that matchup, just said, 3 Optic or something. So for me, they were the team that definitely impressed me.
Just to add to that, I'm sorry, I'm just going to kind of butt in there, but I feel as if Barrage have really, that roster of Bance, Urban, LXC, and Rush have really turned up at probably the best time, because as you said, they beat Optic, they beat Denial, and to be fair, you wouldn't have expected that coming into it. So I feel as if Bance and Urban, not so much LXT and Rush because they're kind of known in the European scene, but I feel like Bance and Urban, especially with all this RosterMania going on with Vitality changing their roster. Well, now they have a roster, but it means Epsilon's not going to have a roster. It means Aware doesn't really have a roster, although I think Aware's roster is kind of confirmed now. I feel as if now the spotlight is going to be on Bance, the spotlight is going to be on Urban, maybe even LXT as well, to be coming into this Epsilon roster and filling up the final 2 places what's on that team.
Yeah, I kind of caught a little bit of that. I know I'm not like the most known in the EU scene, but I definitely can see your points there. Fox, did you have any surprising placings that you saw out of the top 8?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to see Barrage placed over any kind of squad that had both Mad Cat and Swanee on it. That just that threw me off for sure. I said or mentioned earlier that I didn't see Vitality performing too well, and then I took another look at the roster. And I did see Marky B and PD on there, so I want to redact that statement. But Barrage definitely surprised me. The only name that I recognized and remember watching and playing in the past in Advanced Warfare would be LXT. So just to see them placed over Epsilon was kind of unexpected to me.
Yeah, and to be honest, just speaking that term for me, I wasn't really sure how. And I'm not trying to be talking about Optic, but I wasn't sure how Optic Gaming would do. Now, am I surprised that they were in the top 2 and ended up winning the tournament? No, but I was definitely interested to see how they were going to play with their new edition of Enable. If you guys didn't know, Karma is not allowed to travel out of the States due to visa problems. He's not really from the United States, so they're trying to work out some stuff with that. So he will be playing with them for the next event, which is going to be Gfinity. We'll be talking about that here in a little bit, but I wasn't for sure how they would do. Obviously, ended up doing very well and winning the tournament. Much like you guys, I was very surprised by Barrage. Coming out in their first game and beating Optic Gaming was absolutely insane to me. Optic barely was able to slide, not barely, but due to some map counts and how the tournaments worked, they were able to come out in the first seed from their group. So I was pretty interested to see how that was going to work out. Vitality pretty much surprised me, and so did Epsilon. I was kind of hoping the boys from Millennium, they got the hometown heroes, the French Monster and Gotaga and his brother Carbon. I was pretty interested to see how they were going to do. They ended up not even winning a series, which is kind of unfortunate. But those were kind of some surprising moments. Definitely a really good tournament, no doubt. But now we're going to talk about our favorite moments from the tournament. I kind of have an idea what everyone's going to say, but I want to know your guys' favorite moments from the tournament. I think we're all going to have pretty much similar answers. It could be a game. It could be a particular event that happened. It could be a particular crowd that was there. But I'm going to start off with Fox. I'm going to go to Tommy and Rage, since they're basically the same person. Just kidding.
Yes. Wow.
All right.
That's racist.
So for the event, I think that my favorite moment, as Tommy hammers away into his keyboard, my favorite moment would probably be seeing Optic punish Denial for that bad play that we actually just pulled up after the commercial break. Both Denial players were in range to overextend and stop the game-winning flag cap, essentially, the first one of the two. But they both wrapped back to their base, and the flag was already over the wall on retreat towards pool. And just that moment, I was like, no! What are you doing? I'm staring at the minimap, no way! But, just seeing Optic completely take advantage of that and come out on top, that was a very exciting moment for me, because I knew exactly what was gonna happen the moment I saw those arrows turn the way they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rage.
Two favorite moments. One of them was I actually didn't manage to see it, but I heard about it. Was one of the Barrage players actually fell over or tripped over a little bit on stage. Could kind of like a bit of a flag cut. I was told by one of the Barrage players that how they get walked out by the dancers or whatever. This is from a Barrage player. One of the players was looking at the dancer and fell over on stage. No. So that was apparently a thing. I didn't see it. It was a little bit annoying. So yeah, apparently that happened. And then you can't mention ESWC without mentioning the fans. Wow, I love them to bits. Can we not just host every event in France if the fans are going to be like that? It makes so much to the atmosphere. I mean, every time you're watching the stream, you just hear cheering whenever someone gets a kill. Search and Destroy, whenever one of the European teams got a kill, they cheered. But something we don't actually get to experience in Europe, because to be fair, especially at G3, what was kind of the last major event, everyone was cheering for Optic versus Epsilon. Everyone was cheering Optic. They was chanting Optic when it was an Epsilon team, and that really annoys me. So seeing all these French fans getting behind every single European team, even though they're not French players, you have these UK teams like Vitality. They was getting a lot of support. Obviously, Vitality, a French organisation. I know Barrage is getting a lot of support. So see that getting so much support over Optic, I really, really do appreciate it. So I love you, French fans. You are the best. I love you all, every single one of you, every 4,500 of you.
You got the number.
Exactly. It's a shame we weren't there to cast it, but
oh my gosh.
I honestly feel I'm going to say something different, because you two have picked some really awesome moments from the event. I think just generally, I think we can all agree that the event was super awesome. There were so many, you know, great series, things to take away from it that they did well. I thought them having all the matches streamed and then the ones that weren't casted have listenings on the players. I thought that was a super, super awesome idea, something that I know a lot of people have been wanting. But for gameplay wise, the thing that I was just mind blown was when Formal actually got that ace, was pretty much a sniper ace. He got like 3 kills with a sniper, and then the last one he got a hit.
It was beautiful.
That was in Detroit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Detroit. He was sitting around school steps.
Yeah, like I'm just like, wow. It's a shame that all the kills weren't on him. They were on like Clayster and then someone else from Dinar, but it was just mind blowing. That play just gave Optic Gaming so much momentum in that map, and it was just one of the best ace I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. You guys have listed some really good moments. I'm looking at like everything that I had written down. You guys have literally got everything, but just noting some certain things. The CTF when Crim6 capped at the very end for the grand finals was absolutely my personal one of my favorite moments. It was absolutely insane. I know Fox kind of touched on that. Another one of my favorite matches was actually Optic Gaming versus Millennium. It was just so funny seeing the crowd literally scream as loud as they possibly could every time that Millennium would get a kill. It was like whenever I mentioned in my video, it was like, I know, it was like whenever Optic, if Optic would have won World Champs, I guarantee the crowd would have been just as loud, and they were that loud for every single kill. So obviously the fans were absolutely insane. That has been the best fan support, you know, I don't even know what to say, for an event ever in Call of Duty. There has never been, I don't think that I can remember, and you guys might have another instance, the chat might as well, but I've never seen a crowd that electric, that excited for an event ever in my life. And they've talked about it in the past. They've said the French community is absolutely insane. They love their Call of Duty, and they definitely showed that. Looking at some other things, obviously the grand final, like I said, was great. And Formal's 56 bomb on Solar Hardpoint was great. I think that was pretty insane. Formal had some insane moments. Like you said, the ace that he got on Detroit, S&D was, I can't even say enough about Formal. A very, very talented player. But like I said, to me, my absolute favorite moment had to be the crowd. Just the electricity from them was insane, as well as the event as a whole was pretty good. But I want to ask you guys this. We're gonna actually grade. Now we're known for having some pretty interesting grading scales on the STiKS. I'm kind of hoping that you guys are pretty good.
C plus.
I almost want to just avoid this entirely, to be honest.
Venue as a whole, give it a grade. And also, is this the best venue that we've ever had? Let me tell you this. You don't have to grade it. Is this the best venue we've ever had? Yes or no? I don't know. Best venue we ever had. Anyone?
Best venue.
It depends what you mean though, because like the COD Champs, like this year at least, has been a pretty sick venue. And I think like XP was a pretty sick venue as well. But I'd say for the crowd and just the atmosphere in the venue, yes.
Yeah,
A plus. I'm not making a mistake.
A plus. All right. Rage.
A plus is for everyone. Everybody passes.
I mean, like,
yeah, can everyone just say A plus? We need out this really quick. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was. I would probably say realistically B plus. No event can be perfect. Dude. No event can be perfect. I mean,
see, you're the next punching bag for the community.
Wait, so would A be your highest grade?
Hit me there. No.
But would it B plus? Are you counting A as like the highest, or is an A plus on your scale as well?
I'm counting. No, I'm saying B plus / like A minus, because like you can always make an event better. I feel as if it would be better if it was about 20-minute drive from me, not like across in a different country. So obviously, personally, I feel as if it could be a little bit better. I mean, if I was to go to the event, it would be in a different country. I wouldn't have no idea what they were saying. But the venue was fantastic. From what I've seen, and usually after events, you always see like players saying, the reason as to why we lost was because I couldn't hear game sound and stuff like that. There's always one certain complaint what happens with pros. It seems like if there was one of them, you kind of kept it quiet. It was fixed by the admins. I know a lot of the admins who came over. I know who they are, and they do a good job. So I feel as if the admins were good. From what I'm aware of, the casting was good. At least the UK stream. I couldn't really hear the French stream because I don't speak French. Yeah, exactly. I don't speak fluent French. However, I think Oxygen was casting it, and he's a really talented caster. So. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, from what was public, the event was really, really good. The production had a little bit of issues at times. I think the voices were out of sync by like a millisecond or something stupid like that. But again, compared to previous events, the the production's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some delays. Also, can we point out the dancing, the girls, the dancers?
I've seen this.
Hold on, this happened before. This has happened before at a national gaming tournament before. By the way, there was an AGL event during Halo 4 where it happened. Was it last year's ESWC too?
ESWC are quite well known for.
I like that they're trying to like they're trying to be innovative for their events, because I mean, there's no one really like stands out. We got the analyst desk. We got like our standard stuff, you know, the analyst desk, like the on-screen like instant replays and stuff like that some tournaments will have. Like we saw at COD Champs, which was awesome, by the way. I wish we could do that more often. But like, you know, they try to go the extra mile and have like some sort of live performance, and that's cool. It was just really awkward and out of place.
It was innovative.
It was very innovative, and it was a very creative, unique idea, and I applaud that. I just don't know if dancers are the right way to go for a scene like this.
Dancing. I'm no expert at dancing.
I think a lot of the crowd liked it.
I will never forget. I'm not good at dancing, but I feel as if the dancing was definitely C+. It wasn't the best dancing I've seen. I mean, on the off chance that one of the dancers are watching this. I don't know what sorry in French is, so sorry. But I feel as if, you know.
Sorry about that.
I feel as if there probably could have been some improvement. So C+ on the dancing, overall in the event, B+.
Oh man, we made it through it. We made it through it without, you know, getting hated so far.
Something will get brought up. Something will.
Somebody will.
Yeah. There's gonna be a soundbite of me saying something.
Just C+, C+, is like a give. But no, looking at the venue as a whole, I have to personally give it an A based on production, which you kind of add in there as well. I didn't really specify that. It could have been higher. I think they could have had maybe 2 streams. And something that I really wanted them to focus on, there's only 8 teams there, and they had like 3 streams going on. We had an event in the past, but there was only 8 teams, and they really focused on every single game that was there. They had one stream that wasn't even casted over, which wasn't necessarily my favorite. I always like to have personally a way to watch a team. I think like Optic was playing someone, and they didn't even have any casters for it. So it was kind of unfortunate to see. However, some really, really good moments. The venue was great. Like the seating and everything was absolutely insane. I actually watched Hex's video, and he was just showing like technically the worst spot that you could sit in had an amazing view of the venue. Like we said, the fans really added to how good this venue was. I think it was one of the best we've ever had. Production-wise, could have been a little bit better, but you know, ESWC definitely showing a lot of good things, to say the least. Dancing, C+, like Rage said. Just kidding. But no. So what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna head to a quick commercial break, and we're gonna talk about some upcoming events and some questions that you guys asked us on Twitter. We'll see you guys in just a second. Peace. You guys just missed some roasting that we just had in the call.
It's fine.
Rage
Should we have a battle royale go on? Fox versus Rage.
This fool will embarrass him on screen.
1v1 casting. 1v1
1v1.
No, dude, I'll just smack him in game. I'll smack him in cat. Whatever you want me to do. Rock, paper, scissors.
Turn on your Xbox.
I'll beat you.
Turn on your Xbox. Let's go.
It's right in front of me. You just heard it light up.
Look at my bank account. Look at my bank account. I think you guys should play rock, paper, scissors right now. Best of 3. Go! Okay. Best of 3. Rock, paper, scissors.
No, I didn't even warm up. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
How do you warm up for rock, paper, scissors?
What do you mean?
That's I'm going to hit the scissors.
I'm not interested. Let's move on.
Let's do this. Look at it.
Best of 1. Best of 1. Rock, paper, scissors.
Right. That's going to cost. It's going to cost you 1,600 Microsoft points.
Here we go. Best of 1. Rock, paper, scissors. Get ready. Okay.
Wait, are we going rock, paper, scissors, go, or rock,
We're going to do rock, paper, scissors, shoot. On shoot, you do it.
Shoot?
Okay. You have to say it.
I'll do it. I'll be the judge. I'll say it, okay?
I know Fox is already going to go for scissors, so we're good.
No, hold on. Okay, so we're going to go over it again, because you know this always is happening. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
This is the battle.
Are you ready, Fox?
Here we go.
Ready to lose? Yeah. Ready to lose on stream in front of 7,000.
This is more intense than Mayweather versus Pacquiao. No lie. All right.
Let's just do
here we go. Okay. Okay. Get ready. Okay. Get your hands ready.
I mean, all right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Hey! You are nervous.
What? Nah, man. I'm not even. I'm not even trying.
Oh my god.
Let's go. Let's go.
Goalie's just wet himself. Oh dear. Stream's off, guys. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you guys for watching. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna talk about some upcoming events. I'm sorry for that short. We had to do it. We had to sell these things out. That's how it works. But no, we're gonna talk about some upcoming events and then take your guys' questions from Twitter. So if you guys didn't know, we have a lot of events coming up very, very shortly. May is definitely a very busy time for the Call of Duty competitive scene. We'll give you guys a little bit of a schedule for things that's coming up. First is going to be Gfinity Spring Masters, which is coming up on May 8th. Second event that we're going to have is UMG Cali, which comes on May 15th. Next will be MES Detroit. Hey, oh yeah, you're casting that, Fox.
Yeah, right? I am going to be casting UMG Cali.
Saw that.
What's it like casting events?
Fox is better than Rage.
What's up? What'd you say?
Like casting events.
This is
a lot of work, and it's very tiring. It's very mentally, not challenging. That's not the word I'm looking for. Tasking. Like it's. I'm constantly like trying to receive some sort of information from somebody. Like maybe there's something wrong with my microphone, or maybe there's a team playing off stream that I'm going to be casting soon that I need to make sure I look, and see how they're playing for the day, so I have some sort of background knowledge on them. Maybe I'm trying to fill because there's a technical difficulty and we're on stream or something like that. It's a lot of work. A lot of things can go wrong, and you got to be really good at being an entertaining host, and it's definitely a challenge in that regard. But it's a lot of fun too. You get to network the whole time. You get to meet up with some of your friends, like the pro players and stuff like that. It's good to see them again and hang out with them the whole weekend. So it's definitely a lot of good that comes with it, but it's definitely not easy.
Some casting knowledge, in case you guys are out there wanting to be a caster. Anyway, so next is going to be MES Detroit coming on May 22nd. And after that, none other than the X Games coming on April 6th. I want to ask you guys this. Will this and later, like once Call of Duty becomes a crazy esport, because I have faith that it will, like once it grows more, do you guys think we'll start to see this amount of events all the time? Or you guys think this is just kind of like a one-time thing? It just happened for all these events to be at one time? And you guys think, is this a good thing? Do you guys think all of these events at one time is a great thing? Or do you guys think it's kind of a little bit like beating a dead horse in a way?
It's like good and bad, because obviously, we want lots of events, lots of things to watch to, keep the views kind of entertained, because, we know online's a bit dodgy to say the least. But I also feel it's bad because we won't see all the biggest teams, or however you say it, at every event, because obviously, if you're traveling every weekend to an event, it's going to be very straining and you're not going to be able to play at your highest. So I feel like it's good and bad in the sense, but I like it. I feel like even if all the top teams aren't there, there'll still be a good show. Like this weekend, there was only 8 teams, and it was an amazing event. They could have had loads more teams there, but they chose to have 8, and it was an amazing event. So just like UMG Cali, I know a couple of teams already announced they're not going like Denial. I still think like it's going to be a really awesome event. Same with Gfinity, obviously 16 teams there. It's going to be an awesome event. So I feel it's good and bad, but I think it's mostly good for the community.
Yeah, Rage.
Again, I mean, it's just so hectic. I got to just reiterate what Tommy says. I mean, like, it's online's very, very, very inconsistent. So the fact that he's landed there means that these teams can prove themselves time and time again. But then again, for these smaller teams, I mean, it's fine for the Denials, it's fine for the Optics, it's fine for the Phasers to go to every single event. But for some of the smaller teams, they're not going to have that funding available to be able to fund to go to an event on the East Coast, then the West Coast, then in like Canada, and then down wherever else other events are. It's so hectic, and I imagine it's pretty expensive, not to mention flying them over to Gfinity and back. I think Gfinity actually pay for all their travel, so that's obviously an exception, and that's a massively encouraging thing for all the teams. But again, at the same time, talking about Europe as well, I think there's more events. I think there's like a massive cluster of events in July as well. I think there's about 4 or 5 events all in July in terms of the UK, in the UK alone. So that's just insane. And it's weird that all these events, for whatever reason, all decide to go in a certain month. I mean, I'm sure there's reasons why, be it that kids are off school or like college has broken up and so on and so forth. So that's the reason why all the events are in this short time zone. But at the same time, it just means that it's going to be very expensive for players, especially amateur players, to kind of fly themselves out to go to these events.
Yeah, I think we're sort of seeing a little bit of an oversaturation of events. We already see the players, even the top teams, just expressing how tired and exhausted they are from just flying all over the place all the time, and then league matches getting postponed and all like being put on one day, and it's definitely got to be rough. I don't think that I have enough knowledge to know like whether or not this is good or bad for the community. I don't know. I haven't been put in this situation before, and I can't even think of where I've seen it happen in another place. I don't know if having all these events over and over again, like just back to back, is good or bad or not. I don't really know.
Yeah, and speaking on the topic of how many events there have been, I think honestly like it's good in some ways, but it also gets kind of tiring after a while because once we're going to be like in the next couple of months, we're not going to have this amount of events in a row. It's kind of be like an awkward position. And I think the league has really, like what Fox said, it's kind of struggled a little bit with constantly having to reschedule matches, players having to leave a couple days early. I know a couple players are even staying in Europe, having to wait until Gfinity comes around, which is this weekend and whatnot. So, but it's definitely good in some ways for money. And I actually added up all of the prize pools that will be coming in May, and it's going to reach over $150,000 for total prize pools in May for events. And then coming on, what is it, April 6th? It's $75,000 prize pool for the X Games. So you're definitely going to have a lot of money-making opportunities if you're in the Call of Duty esports scene, no doubt. Especially for teams like Optic Gaming and Denial. I'm sure they're very excited about that. If you guys didn't know, I actually saw the stat that someone had tweeted at me. In every single tournament so far in 8 Advanced Warfare, either Optic or Denial has been in the grand finals. So that's pretty interesting to know. Those teams definitely making some money off of these events. So we're going to head into some questions from Twitter. You guys tweet us these questions and we answer them on the frickin' show. Not sure why I said frickin', but we did. Goalie, do you have these questions ready?
Show.
The frickin' show.
So hyped.
This is the first one from Mayes. Okay, so the first question coming from @Mays_EU. He asks, do you think Optic are a better team with Enable or Karma? And he put in little parentheses. Personally, I think Karma. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you guys think the Optic are better with Enable or Karma?
Oh.
Goalie, shut up. You heard
That's
him.
awkward. Oh.
Tommy, I'm going to ask you this question first, then I'm going to go to Rage, and then to Fox. You think the Optic is better with Enable or Karma?
I thought I muted my mic and I didn't.
I don't know where that shut up just came from nowhere. I felt like you were telling like Lambs to shut up or something. I was like, wait, what?
Background noise that I'm trying to prevent from happening, but I end up causing it myself.
Oh, I hate when that happens. So I think it's hard because it's really hard to compare, Optic with Enable and Optic with Karma because we haven't seen Optic on LAN with Karma, and that for me is the place where you can really see how roster, actually gets on, because obviously there's so many different factors that filter into, being a successful team on LAN. You got to keep composure, all sorts. So until we see Karma play with Optic on LAN, what I do believe will be at UMG Cali, I think they're going, if I'm not mistaken, that's when we can really get a true test of what the capabilities of this roster is. But going off how they did with Enable, I feel like you've got the core 3 teammates there of Crimsix, Formal, and Scump. So I feel like there's no way they're going to turn up at UMG Cali and come, rock bottom last. I feel like they're going to do well because them 3 players are playing all phenomenal at the moment, and Karma's just going to add to it. He's proven himself as an awesome player. He's a 2-time world champion. So for me, I feel when we see them play at UMG Cali, that'd be a true test. But to say which is better, it's hard to say. Just going off past records, I'd probably say Karma, but as I say, I think we need to wait till UMG Cali to get a true test of how well this roster will do with Karma.
Yeah, I can agree with that and get on board with that, Rage.
To be honest, it's very, very hard to kind of judge because Karma hasn't really played with them on LAN yet, and then you see Enable winning. However, I feel as if head-to-head, Karma or Enable, you can't really choose anyone other than the only 2-time world champion in that kind of head-to-head. I mean, Enable's a very, very good player, but Karma, there's a reason as to why he's got 2 championship rings, and I think he's the only player to have one. So again, there must be a reason why, and so he's definitely good. And so I feel
he's just lucky. He's just lucky.
Yeah, he gets carried. No, I'm joking, but obviously, yeah, there's a reason why Karma's got that accomplishment. He's the only person to get this accomplishment, and that's because he's just he's insanely good. I think their record with Karma in the league is incredible. I can't remember the exact statistic because I don't really follow the league because of the time zone difference, but I think the statistic's like 120 to 20 or something along those lines in terms of maps. You're shaking your head, Landon. Is that wrong?
Well, they've only they're like 80 and 23 in overall maps. I think he means like in regular score. Like that's how. Maybe I'm not really sure.
Right.
It's not.
Because I know they're definitely very, very good in.
Yeah, they're 80 and 23 in overall maps, and they win 78% of the time. So.
Exactly. So they must be doing something right. I mean, Enable obviously so far he's 1 for 1 in terms of being on this Optic team and winning a LAN. So it's quite a good record, 100%. But I still feel as if Karma is better for that team.
Yeah, Fox.
Personally, I feel like we've already gotten a good taste of how Karma's going to perform for Optic Gaming. They're 25-3 in the league. We hear a lot of people that like to discredit online performance, but they're at the top for a reason. And there have been games where someone can go double-digit negative on their team, and they'll still come out on top in the series. And that's just, I think that's one of the situations where you can definitely take online performance into account as to how they perform on LAN. Karma's going to perform fine. It's not like he's never done it before.
Yeah, and I honestly, I chose this question to see how you guys would respond. I wanted to know what you guys would think about kind of an unanswered question, but I wanted to know you guys' thoughts. And I definitely agree with them. I think looking at every other game that's been in the past, I honestly think Enable would be just a little bit of a better fit based on how roles work. I know in Advanced Warfare we don't have necessarily the amount of roles, and the game doesn't really play a lot in the role sense like other games do. This game is basically you have a bunch of group of slayers, you have some person to get in the hill, and you're good to go. Not necessarily, but in a certain way. And I definitely think Karma helps that role with slaying. Karma is a phenomenal slayer, like what Fox said. They're just doing great in the league. They're doing some great stuff. They're 25-3. Not all those wins are with Karma, but still a lot of them are. But along with other things, I think Enable in other cases works really well with how Crim6 does with the OBJ role. I believe Enable's mostly their flag carrier. I know him and Crim6 kind of go back and forth. At least when I saw them scrim and play together, that's what they've been trying to mess around with. But still both have their their highs and lows. But looking at how this game works, I think Karma is personally a better fit for this team. So let's go and move on to the next question. I think if Goalie's ready. Goalie, are you ready? Goalie is ready.
Of course Goalie's ready. Goalie's a professional.
Right.
Right. I love that reaction where everyone's like, no, he isn't.
Oh, man. The next question comes from 16 Walker and Bird. It's a little bit of an interesting name. He asks, what was Nadeshot the reason Optic lost champs? And if so, with him gone, will OG go on an EG/Cole run? You don't have to answer the champs question if you don't like to. I kind of chose this question for the second part, which is, with him gone, will OG go on an EG/Complexity run? I'm going to start with Fox for this one, and then I'm going to go to Tommy, and then to Rage.
I feel like with any moment that we see a team start to become dominant, that everyone immediately jumps out. Are they just going to win everything? Are they going to be EG Call? Are they going to be the final boss? Or are they going to, we don't know yet. We don't know. That's literally something we could not possibly predict. I mean, right now, what they've been doing, it looks like they could be, but they have some stiff competition being Denial and maybe this Prophecy roster.
Tommy?
And Envy.
I think
and Elevate. And Rise. All right, now go ahead.
Are you done, Fox?
Yeah, I got all the teams out.
Okay, sure. You want to leave any more stress?
No.
And TCM.
I'm good.
I think he's a little bit stressed from the rock, paper, scissors game. Just a little bit.
Okay,
I was good to expel all the stress from my body. We're good to go.
I really don't like this question. I think it's because it just comes back to the whole thing of like they will always be underlooked by pro players because of the fan base and overlooked and so on and so forth. Do I think they're better without him? Yes, because the way kind of Advanced Warfare is appearing to me, it seems like there aren't really characterized roles like we've seen. A good example would be Black Ops 2, where there was very much defined, key characteristic roles that certain players had, and I don't feel like that's the case in Advanced Warfare, partly because it is so fast paced. I definitely feel adding more slaying to the team is good. Nade, technically went negative overall. I think he had like a 0.9 KD on average, roughly around then. And adding Karma, I feel, can only be a good thing. I know that there was the whole kind of controversy over, are they going to be able to do objective work? But I mean, if you look at it, it's been evident for a good few events now. You know, Crimsic's been playing more of a support role. Scump's been picking up the slack from the OBJ work. I mean, if you look at him just the weekend gone, I think one CTF, he had 11 returns, one hardpoint, he had 17 captures. So it's very evident that they're easily picking up what Nadeshot was doing. No discredit to him. So I feel like this team going forward can only be better.
Definitely. I can get on board with that for sure. I like your guys' points. I find myself trying to like find something else, and it's literally the exact same thing that I was thinking. So I'm glad we're on the same track. Rage, any other comments?
To be honest, when you have a roster of Crim, Karma, Formal, and Scump, they're always going to be dominant because the 4 players individually, if they was on any other roster, they would be considered to be one of the best players. So when they're all put together, you've just got a god squad. So you've definitely got the potential to go on this run, but I still think it's early. Maybe if they get 3 or 4 more event wins in a row under their belt, then maybe we could probably compare them to the likes of the EG, Cole, Impact sort of insane runs. But to be honest, Denial's out there. Denial's are kind of like the Optic crick tonight. I feel as if Denial definitely have what it takes to dethrone them. I mean, they did it in Champs in the group, in like the group 1 sort of like round where they obviously beat them in the group. So, sorry, in the bracket, round 1 bracket, my bad. Yeah, so they definitely have the chance. I feel as if that's probably going to be the clash for the majority of the major events. It's going to be OG Denial final. I feel as if that's always going to be the case. So it's going to be one of the other 2 teams. But again, Optic definitely does have the chance to do it. It's kind of on themselves. It's either it's for Optics to win or it's for Optics to lose. It all depends on their mindsets going into the game and all that good stuff.
I think looking at this question, I was kind of confused on how I was going to approach it. You know, I don't think you can honestly compare anyone to EG/Complexity. I would argue EG because it wasn't necessarily the exact run. They still were good on Evil Geniuses, don't get me wrong, but the Complexity team was absolutely dominant. Not necessarily from the exact start, but whenever they gained the players that they did. Man, and me and Gully were actually talking about this in the pre-call. We were mentioning, you know, look at just look at COD Esports PD. Oh, we have a sub.
Sub.
Shout out to Steph and Duval. Steph and Duval for subscribing. Woo! Woo! Everyone
get some
woo.
woos in the chat from my man Steve. I think it's Steven, dude. But you know what?
Yeah.
Let's get some
Steven
woos regardless
Duval.
for whoever he is. I'm gonna give him some what face spam. You know, toss some
Jeez,
woos in there.
Fox. Just like rained upon Golden
Fox
Boy's
has
chat.
killed the chat.
Oh my God.
Fox has killed
I've
the
never
chat.
seen Golden Boy so much on my screen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Thank you to Steven or Stefan, whatever your name is. We appreciate it. Welcome to the STiKS fam for 4 months in a row. Thank you very much, pal. But if you guys want to do that, hit the subscribe button. Everyone will woo for you too. So just letting you guys know. But going back to the EG/Colt question, I don't think that Optic Gaming, unless they win every single event that we have left, if they go on a crazy streak like Complexity did, winning 9 events in a row and almost winning 11 and placing second, like they had won 9 events in a row, they got second, and then they won first again. So almost winning 11 events in a row is absolutely insane. That's almost as many tournaments that we have in an entire year. So them doing that well, and especially making the transition from Black Ops 2 to Ghosts and doing so well as well. There's a lot of wells. Something that can't really be matched. I'm interested to see how this team's going to do. If they start to win a lot more events, we'll have to see what comes of it. However, for right now, you just can't compare anyone to Complexity. They're just the best team that's ever has been, and we'll leave that to see what happens later. However, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. Hopefully, if goalie is ready. Yes.
Whoa. This is all Fox the Don's fault? Dude, you'll fight me. Find me in an alleyway, bro.
I'll be a champion. I'll rock, paper, scissors you again because you know it's obviously I'm going to win.
Why don't you play me in a real game?
We're not doing
like
that.
Russian roulette.
Game. I mean, you sound pretty salty. You sound
This
pretty
got real
salty.
intense.
You lost, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Dude, 1v1 me in AW, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1,
right.
Modern Warfare 2, whatever you want, and I'll win. All right?
Best 1v1, no scopes only.
Yes.
I mean, to be honest, I feel
up.
as if you're just digging yourself a grave here because I'm a pro.
Rage, look, you do not want this.
I mean, I'm too good. Carry on.
I'm too good.
All right, man.
I'll save you, Rage.
I got you. ESR the other day, but I was playing against Benson and Deathly. And
I saved you. I saved your.
Well, I
played
Rage. Benson at LAN at EGL 30, and I played Benson at LAN, and I'm not even going to talk about that, but it's pretty embarrassing on Benson's part. But carry on.
Yeah, what are we going on?
Okay, so next question comes from, and the last question also, by the way, comes from Zenith. Sorry, I'm not very good at reading, as you can tell. I have to get really close to the screen. Zenith. He asks, do you think Champs should be held in Zenith? Which is actually the event that was held for ESWC. Zenith is the stadium where they were playing at. So he let me know that, so I appreciate it. But so do you guys think that Champs should be held in an arena? I guess you could say that specific arena, or an arena up to that sort, I guess you could say. I'm going to start with Rage, then to Fox, then to Mr. Tommy Esports for the last question.
Right.
To be honest, I'll be very, very surprised if Champs was hosted in a non-American city, because America is always known as the place for Call of Duty. Sad to say, but their teams are better than the European teams. Again, I'm about to cry, but to be honest, I mean, it's always known as the hub. They've always got the biggest fan base. However, France, they've got the most supportive fan base. If you can find a venue what has good links, transport links, what actually has the capability to be exactly like the arena we saw at ESWC, then go ahead, host it there. However, I think America is one of those countries, it makes sense. The event would be found by now. MLG would have found this arena if it had the right logistics, if it had the right travel connections, and if it had the right infrastructure to make it a good event. I feel as if it isn't there already, then it probably doesn't exist. So again, it's going to have to be in America. But the fans at ESWC, if that was the same as Champs and the same as every other American event, I feel as if COD will grow a lot more, because fans make sports, especially esports, them getting behind it, them cheering, them wooing, it adds so much to the atmosphere. Woo! So I really wish, exactly, just like us when a subscribes.
Just get a bunch of kills in the. Can you imagine if you got like a bunch of killers in the stadium, just woos everywhere?
But I mean, if we can find that, then that's great. But I just feel as if it's not in America, so we're just gonna have to make do with what we can do and what we can kind of get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fox.
I think that it's always going to be in America for a number of reasons. One, America is probably definitely is statistically, just where Call of Duty's at. The viewership, the players, everything, the competition. That's just where it is right now. This is our hub, right? And also it's being run by Activision, which that's an American company. I feel like they'd have to jump through a lot of hurdles and also have to pay more to have an event outside of the country and stuff. And the players have to pay more as well, getting passports, all this other stuff, even though their travel will probably be covered for them. I just feel like it's a lot of hoops they have to jump through for something that could easily be done in America. And you got to think about time zone differences. They're streaming at prime time in America, and everyone's up, and no one has to travel out of the country. And it's always going to be in America. And that's just the bottom line. That's just what's going to happen. Would I like for it to be there? If Call of Duty were more global than what it is right now? Heck yeah, it looked amazing, and the audience was even better. That's something everybody keeps bringing up and complimenting, because that was sort of a selling factor for a lot of viewers. I just loved hearing the audience go crazy and loved seeing the crowd shots of all those people. We don't have crowds like that in Call of Duty events usually, so it would be cool, but it would only make sense for it to continue being in America.
Tommy, Mr. Tommy Esports.
I definitely agree with what you said at the end there, Fox, about we need to be more global for it to even, to even contemplate it going out of the States. I think the biggest thing I think of is, we don't even know if there's going to be a COD Champs next year. We don't know what's going to happen. The only thing I can think of, and what I'm most excited for now, is obviously the MLG World Championship. What is going to be insane, because I remember seeing on the subreddit, I think yesterday, someone talking about, the French crowd are amazing, etc., etc. And then Adam Apicella got involved and just was like, wait for our event. So I trust in MLG and what they're doing. I'm sure it's going to be really awesome. Obviously, we don't know where it's going to be yet, but what we do know is it's going to be, on the world stage. It's going to have all teams from around the world. So I'm sure wherever they do get a venue for, they're going to pack it out, and the crowds are going to be absolutely great. So for me, it's not going to happen. I agree with Fox. I don't think it's going to go outside the States for a very, very long time. We're literally going to have to see Call of Duty really explode for it to happen. And you're rightfully saying, you know, Call of Duty, its home is in America because, you know, the publishers, the developers, everyone is based in America, and obviously all the scene is there. You know, to get it out even to, you know, Europe, the scene would have to grow so much. So I feel it's achievable, but definitely not in the short term. It's definitely going to be a very, very long term thing.
Yeah, I like what T-Center got put in the chat. He said Korea, known for their COD fan base. That's very, very true. But no, like what everyone has really said in this call for in this STiKS episode. You know, it's known in America. Call of Duty has been known in America for ever since it's been around, since esports has been around. You can't really take it out of the country where it's known the most at. We have the most teams that go to COD Champs, and back to what Tommy said. Do we know if COD Champs we're even going to have one next year? We don't. But, and going back to what he said, actually, Adam Apicelli was actually tweeting at me along with someone else the other day, talking about events. He said, wait for October, wait for the stuff that we have in store for, you know, the few coming months. And he's definitely got a lot of stuff prepared. He's got a lot of interesting things. So whether we have a COD Champs or not, it's going to be in America. And regardless if we have COD Champs, it's going to be some great events regardless. So that's been the STiKS for this day, Monday, the STiKS Live.
Monday.
So how we're going to close the show is what we normally do. We give a 30-second outro, say whatever you want to whoever you want. And like I said, you have 30 seconds. You can shout out your sponsors. If you have sponsors, you can just say hi to a friend. If your mom's watching, say hi to your mom. Do whatever you want. I'm going to start off with Tommy, then to Rage, then Fox, and I'll close it out with myself.
I mean, I hope my mum isn't watching. She needs to go to bed if she is. So, Mum, go to bed if you are watching. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a really awesome show. Thank you for having me on for I think the third week in a row. I really do appreciate it, guys. Just hit 900 subscribers on YouTube. Can I just give a big shout out to everyone that's ever supported me? I really do appreciate it. And, you know, if you want to tune in Wednesday, we have the STiKS Live EU. We've got a guest on that is from the ESWC event. We can't announce it yet, but we do have someone that you'll hopefully enjoy listening to, and we'll see you then.
And I got to say something really fast. This dude Tommy does grind out videos. You see him upload at least once or twice every day. Grind, definitely pan off. So I had to throw that in there. Tommy makes some great content, guys.
Cheers,
Make sure to subscribe. Damn, no problem, man. So I'll go to Rage next.
I mean, you could shout me out on my YouTube, but that's cool. But anyway, I've been Alex.
Have you been uploading videos?
Yeah, carry on. Anyway, I've been Alex, also known as iRage. I am also known as the STiKS Rock Paper Scissors World Champion. So you know,
that's going in his bio.
So you know,
guys.
Check me out. That's going to be in the bio later on. Follow my Twitter, follow my YouTube, and as Tommy said, make sure you follow the stream so you can be notified for the STiKS EU, what's coming this Wednesday, with a guest what I'm very happy about. I feel as if it's going to be a very good show. I talked to him in LAN quite a bit, and he's a very nice person. Everyone's going to love him. Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot, Fox. Thanks a lot, Landon. Thanks a lot, Goldie.
Yeah.
Tommy, meh. And I'll see you in a bit.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Okay. First of all, Rage, you haven't uploaded a video in 6 days.
Video tomorrow.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh.
Video.
Oh.
Sometimes perfection. You gotta wait for something.
You sound really confident. This better be a good video.
Oh, it will be.
Some ordinary video. Some day in the life where Rage is gonna wake up. He's like, all right, guys, my morning peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Just something.
Nate shot better be in the video. So I'm gonna say Nate shot better in the video, or I'm disliking it and flagging it for appropriate content.
It's just Rage.
All right, let me get my 30 seconds in really quick. Hi, I'm Fox. I'm a caster. I was just casting UGC Niagara. I casted North American Regionals, and I'm going to be casting UMG California, and hopefully more events after that. I am a YouTuber and live streamer. My Twitter has been right here the whole time, the whole show. Make sure you drop a follow if you haven't already. I live stream I don't live stream every day. I upload to YouTube every single day. So if you want to check out my content, you can. I have a variety of stuff. I'm always looking to improve my content. I just hit a little over 2K subscribers the other day. So hopefully we can get that way up there, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. So if you want to join in, now's the time. I also live stream at mlg.tv/Fox. So you can tune into that whenever you like. I'm never live streaming during the STiKS, so that's something to look out for.
Hey. But guys, it's been your dude, your bro, your pal, your man, your ally on the internet. It's been Landon. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show today. Shout out to all the sponsors I don't have yet. We'll be in contact very shortly. Thank you to Rage, Tommy, and Fox for being on the show, and Goalie for producing it. But thank you guys very much for being in the chat today. It's been awesome. I love you guys so much. I've been trying to stream a lot more. I've been doing some casting aids, trying to get better for the cast-off, which will be coming up very shortly. You guys might see me on the ESR in a couple of days. Can't go into detail on that. However, that's been the STiKS live for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys Wednesday, maybe Friday, for a recap show, and the next Monday for the STiKS live. So we'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Peace out.
Love you, STiKS fan. Thank you, everybody, for having me on the show.
This is world champion.